Welcome to Abhiman Academy. Today we will see how do we load the data to a database table. Here in our example, Postgres database table from a CSV or an Excel. Many a times the major problem that data analysts face would be their data would be in an Excel, but they want to load that into a table for doing the slice and dicing and data analysis. So we will see how that can be done. In one of the video before, we have showcased how do you install a PostgreSQL database and server in your Windows machine. Now, this is the pgadmin client that you're seeing where we can run the SQL commands. So what we do is this icon here, we will just execute one query execution here to create a table, and then into that table, we will try to load the data using a CSV. So click on that query window. Now, as a first step, we will create a table. Create table. Let's name the table as students, and then we'll add columns to that. So student name can be one of the column, a character type, student ID, again a character type, email address, again a character type. Then for a location, let's capture the zip code. This will be a number or an integer type. Then the last can be date of joining. This will be a date type. Okay, so let's create a simple table, students, and you can see the query returned successfully. And if you expand that table section, just refresh it, you can see that the student table is created. Now, if you run a select statement here, select star from students, you can see that the table is empty. Now, let's load the data into this table. How do you do that is if you have a pgadmin type of client, then you can right click on the table and there is an option to import export data. If you click on this, you can import the data using a CSV file. Now for that you need to have a CSV. How do you create a CSV? We'll just quickly showcase that. So take an Excel window and then this is sample data that I have entered. You can see that there are 5 columns: student name, student ID, email address, zip code and date of join. And we have 5 records that is currently present. This you would need to save this as a CSV, right? You can click on save as, and then you can see the format is CSV. So you can see it is CSV UTF-8, comma delimited. Okay. Now I have already saved this here. I have this file. Whatever I'm showing right now is already saved as a file. We will see how do we import this now. Okay. Now go back to pgadmin and then right click on the students, click on the import export data, and then click on the browser and select the file that you want to upload. Format is CSV. Encoding you can keep UTF-8, which will work in majority of the cases. There are different options you can go. On the options window, you can have, if there is a header, you can mark the header if your data does not have a header. For example, here the first row is a header, so you don't need to load this data into your table. So you can click on this header and then it will not load the data. You can have delimiters. By default, usually a CSV will have a comma separated delimiter, but if you have, or if your data is in a different format and then you are using any other letters as delimiter, you can use that. Your code is basically to separate out strings which are space separated or a single byte. Escape character, again, if your data contains any of the characters which we are using it for separation of the data, like a delimiter or a quote, you need to put an escape character to separate out that data. Null strings, again, the concept here is by default \n is the format, but if you are representing null in a different way, then you need to explicitly mention it here. In the column section, you can define which all the columns that you are planning to bring, and then accordingly you can choose those columns to be imported and use the ordinal column functionality to match it against in ordinal values. Okay, now that our data is ready, let's go and import it. You can see the process completion message had come, and that means the data is loaded. Let's run the statement again, and you can see that all those 5 records from the CSV has been uploaded into a database table. So this is how you import the data from an Excel or a CSV into the database. Thank you for watching.